a podcast hosted by Joe Dietrich, Joe on the mic, Leader Talk.
Okay. So guys, today I got Coach Raja Veda. Coach Raja Veda is a triple threat with science for the mind, karate for the body, and music for the soul. Over the past 3 years, he has provided free Facebook coaching in mindset and personal development and helped thousands of people. This past year, the beta launch of his Mind Shift Mastery yielded 100% success rate in guiding clients to face their fears after 37 years of Tang Soo Do training and coaching. He saw a pattern of teaching white belts to achieve black belt, and he brings this into his business, life, and relationships. He now is a professional speaker and keynoted TEDx Johnson&Johnson, recently won runner-up in the Toastmasters International Speak Competition Division B in the Black Belt Hall of Fame. Starred in the martial arts documentary movie, The Martialist, and about to release his new book, Unbox Me Today. All of these despite a long life stutter, which he saved for last to show you what the obstacle can be overcome with the right mind shift. Welcome, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for inviting me onto the show. I got to say, I love your intro and I love you, man. So thanks for inviting me here.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
Stuck in this mindset of thinking we know what we know. And that's true, but then you don't. But there are certain things that you know that you don't know, but there's also stuff that you don't know that you don't know. And that's where the true growth comes from. So if anything, like my own personal journey has really taught me is that, like I told you before, that in 2015 and 2018, I was in these two car crashes that really defined my life. And the first one, really, I overcame and I struggled and I had to learn to pivot. And as a result of that, that car accident, it was a head-on car crash. I totaled my beautiful Infinity that I had back then. Great car. I had 220,000 miles on it, so I guess it was due. But I felt so sad that car was totaled, and I smashed my head on the windshield. And if you can see here, I got hair on this side of my head. Don't have hair on this side of my head because I have the scars here that still are there. And sometimes I think I can still feel the glass that was in my head for about 6 months. And I couldn't turn my head to the left for about 2.5 years. So, and when people say what'd you do during the time? It's like, I pushed through it. I was crazy. I pushed through it. I did triathlons during that time. I took up triathlons. And so, but here's the best part. As a result of that, I raised over $30,000 for cancer research at Children's Hospital. So when I tell people this, I said, listen, we all got problems, and at the time I had just opened up my own karate school. So 3 months after I opened my karate school, this happens. And so I actually come in that day of the accident and I tell my students, face to face, and they see me, they see this stuff in my head and I've got bandages on, and I tell the parents, hey, listen, we're going to take a couple of days off from karate, but I just wanted to tell you face to face so you know what's going on. And I think that, people thought I was crazy. And I said, well, if you're a role model, if you're a leader, like, it's crazy not to do it because that's your responsibility. These are the people that you take care of.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I treat them like family. So why wouldn't you tell your family face to face? So, it was, it's like a little more than a 15-minute drive from home to the karate school. And, and I'm there for 10 minutes, just talking to other parents, and they're all asking me, oh, I hope you're okay. Everything's okay. It's, yeah, everything's fine. We'll deal with it. It's just like everything. And I think more than anything, those kids then see that what the role of a black belt mind shift truly is that you take what happens and you figure it out. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't know that I couldn't turn my neck for 2.5 years. I couldn't do neck holds and grips. Like, I teach jiu-jitsu as part of my system. And for someone to not be able to roll on the mats with my students, I can still teach everything. My mind is sharp as a tack, but I can't risk them putting me in a chokehold or like a guillotine or kimura and having problems with my neck and my shoulders going on. And what was weird was I recovered from that after about 2.5 years. And then in 2018, I get hit again in car. I'm like, gosh. And I'm like, come on, guys, what's going on? This time I got rear-ended. And actually, there was barely any damage on the car because I think all that energy got transferred to me. And that one actually hurt worse. So I'm still dealing with that. That little whiplash injury hurt me more than that head-on crash and totaled my car and smashed my head and all this. That one actually hurt me worse because everything hurt inside. Yeah, I know. So as a result of that, in 2020, I closed my karate school, and I decided that because my kids, I still wanted them to teach or to learn. So now I'm taking them to my teacher's school, and then I'm still teaching there. And in the meantime, I decided, I have to learn to pivot and find a way to share all this knowledge that I have. Well, that whole time while I'm dealing with depression, anxiety, and worry, and where, how am I going to live my life going forward? And, how am I going to do my job? It just affected everything. And so I went through my own personal transformation. And as a result, Victory Mindset Academy behind me is what resulted. And now I'm an online coach. I'm impacting more people. Now I've changed mind shifts of thousands. And now I've been coaching online for over 3.5 years. And I just love what I do, because just like teaching a student to become a white belt to a black belt, when you have a client and they get that mind shift, they break their mindset and create that mind shift, now they've actually launched themselves into a new velocity of their life.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is amazing stuff, because now we're just going to transition to, you have a talk called Flip Your Fear into Your Superpower. And can you tell our audience what that means to you? Flip your fear to your superpower.
Well, you're going to hear me every once in a while get stuck on a word or a block. I'm going to repeat, because I've had a lifelong stutter, and I'm being very judicious and careful with the way that I speak. And part of what happens is for me, imagine when you're walking on a fence or walking onto something very narrow and you're afraid you're going to fall off. That's me every time I speak. Every time I open my mouth, I'm afraid I'm going to fall off my fluency. And so what I'm doing is I'm very carefully, sort of every other breath, I have to be careful about the way that I project myself and speak, and the way that I connect my words. I have a hard time sometimes with my L's, my M's, my R's. So they get stuck. And what's interesting is, I'll tell you, when the worst year for me, probably middle school, was probably 7th grade, because at the time I had a problem with my S's. So when people would ask me what grade you in, I was 7th grade, and I hated that. And sometimes I had trouble with my R's. What's your name? Raja. And they think I'm joking around. They're like, what are you doing, man? What's your name? Why are you goofing off? So I was so glad to get to 8th grade, because it was much easier to say 8th grade. But when people hear the story and how, as a teenager, I got bullied viciously, and there were some particular people I know that have since reached out to me and actually apologized and really, asked for my forgiveness, and I've given it to them. And I don't see those people, the men that they are now, I don't treat them as the children that they were then. And just as well, being able to flip that fear and being able to speak in front of people is truly what that's about. So now I've taken that fear of speaking in front of anybody, in front of an audience, in front of thousands of people. I've been on stage in front of 8,000 people and spoken. And I was at a multi-level networking conference not even 2 years ago, where in the first 6 days I reached the top 0.003% of the sales leaders, and that was with my speech impediment. So if I can do that, I think I can do anything. And that's where I kind of got the idea of flipping your fear to your superpower, because I can either hide behind that and say, you know what, I'm too afraid, I'm not going to speak, I just forget it, I don't want to be a leader, I don't want to be on stage. Or I can say, you know what, to hell with it, I'm going to take it by the horns, I'm going to mess up some of the times, you know, and that's just part and parcel of the whole process. So instead of that journey where you kind of like stumble and fall and you stop, you're going to stumble and fall and get up and keep going. And that's what it's all about. And you start off with, like, one of my strategies I tell people, and one of those success strategies is what I call simple stacking, you know. And it's a success strategy that you use in the martial arts, you use in sports, you use in academics, you use with doctors, you use to like build up confidence in people that need it. So if you're a surgeon, you want a super confident surgeon. You don't want the surgeon that's out there like, I don't know if I should cut this or not. You know, that's not the kind of surgeon you want. You want the surgeon with like balls out saying, hey, I got everything. Yeah, I got the new vet, the hot new girlfriend, and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, more importantly, they know their job, right? They're confident that they can do the skill that they were trained to do. But part of that is the success stacking technique that I use with white belts to create this mind shift. And it is very simply, you know, give them an easy task to win. And next time they come in, remind them of that, and then give them another easy task. And now you're stacking. What you're doing is you're success stacking over and over and over and over again. And what happens is by doing that, you start to create a pattern of success. Now your brain has chemicals that help to reinforce that. You have something that it's called dopamine. That's your pleasure hormone, right? So in your brain, now you get that a dopamine burst, like the same as if you just won $100,000 in the casino, and that a dopamine burst is not firing off, and it tells you, oh, I just won something. I just won something then. And your brain doesn't realize, is it a tiny win or a big win? It counts it all the same. So instead of like trying to go for that one big gigantic win that's going to take you 10 years, you know, stop that. Break it up into small, simple wins daily. And what you realize is that now, by forcing myself to speak for 1 minute on camera, like I started my first Facebook Live in 2018, and I was forced to because I was honestly afraid to. And one of my friends, she's an author. Her name is Diane Huth, and she has 3 books about career building and about writing resumes. And she has an awesome book that's called like the Grown-Up's Guide to Running Away from Home. So it's about retiring and living down in Mexico, where for really a low cost of living. So like I'll put you in touch with her. Like she'd be also a great guest on your show.
Yeah.
But she and I were chit-chatting, and we're good friends still. And she said, you know, Raj, you've got to practice these lives. I said, no, I'm doing Toastmasters. That's okay. That's good enough for now. I said, no, got to do this. So I did my first Facebook Live back then with her. And since then I got I started pushing myself. I got some coaching. Then I did this 30 days of Facebook Lives challenge.
Oh.
And so what I did is I did something called, I did a theme of it called Moment of Music. So what I did is on that, I would talk about a coaching theme and then related to some sort of theme, like that was music, you know, and then I would sing it or play it live. And then I did that. I decided to go even beyond the 30 days. I went 38 days. And what I did is I would tag people. Oh, it's somebody's anniversary, somebody's birthday, somebody just passed away, somebody just lost their dog, somebody, you know, so whatever themes were kind of relevant around that time. And what was fantastic was, you know, I started to get a following. People were like, Roger, that's amazing. You're inspiring me. I can't believe you're doing this. And so that gave me the courage, because I did that daily, you know, for 38 days straight, forced me to realize, you know, this is not so hard. It's really not. And if I can do it, then why can't anybody else who doesn't have a speech problem?
Wow. So Raj, man, you've gone through this journey. You've gone through multiple accidents, then speech impediment, and now you're encouraging others to get past the mind shift of negative thinking to positive thinking. Now you're overcoming and showing people that, look, if you just step out, you can speak and speak to the masses, speak to those people that need to hear your voice. So in our introduction, that you're called the triple threat. So what is one thing? How did you become a triple threat with a speech impediment, multiple car accidents? How did you become a triple threat?
Well, here's what I say. When people ask me for my intro, I say like I'm a triple threat. I do science for the mind, karate for the body, and music for the soul. And if you think about that, when people talk about like mind, body, soul, and how they really connect to each other, I've lived it. And there's a lot more to it than just talking about it. It's more about, I'm showing that, look, I've been doing cancer research for 22 years. I've been behind some of the teams that have brought out some of the major billion-dollar drugs, Imbruvica, Zytiga, Darzalex, which was my baby. Like I worked in that for, gosh, at least 4 or 5 years. And I was the head person making the kits for the global clinical trials studies. And like a Darzalex, that's a multiple the myeloma drug. And it's now a $5 billion drug. And I can say, like, I put my stamp on that, and I'm very proud to say that's out there saving lives, like millions of lives. So same thing in the martial arts. There were a lot of people that thought like, oh, this kid's not going to make it. And back then I was just super skinny, scrawny little Indian kid with big, I had that big Coke bottle glasses, kind of MC Hammer wore, except I wore those. Here you got this like skinny kid with a stutter, with wearing these Coke bottle glasses. And, so you can look at me, I mean, I got to show you some pictures because, I can laugh about it now because I look back, I'm like, oh man, yeah, those were not some good choices.
Yeah,
we
we've
can
all done
laugh
that.
about it. And then of course, music, wasn't really till 9th grade I realized I had an ear for music, because I was in the choir room before we start singing, and I just goof off on the piano because in 9th grade we began learning a choral like version of the Phantom of the Opera. So I thought, oh my God, this is such powerful music. I wanted to just learn it on the piano. And at that time, I was so busy, like I didn't have time for piano lessons. Actually, when I was years before, like my mom actually bought this little 61 key Casio keyboard and paid for piano lessons for me and my sister. My sister went to the piano lessons. I skipped it because I wanted to go to karate, and so like I never went. And now I taught myself a Phantom of the Opera by ear, and then the next year we were singing songs from like Les Miserables. So I started playing around with that, and then later on I realized, like, man, I got a good ear, I got a good voice too. And I didn't realize that until people started saying, like, gosh, Roger, when you sing, you sound pretty good. I said, really? I should, they said, like, why don't you try it for pop group? That was our audition group that went out to like places like the mall or to Gettysburg or somewhere else to sing and perform. And so in 9th grade, I got into our just our normal choir. 10th grade, I got into our pop group as well as I started to audition for the local district choir. And then by junior year, I had gone to a district and started to get high up in there. Senior year, I finally got braces my senior year. Now, here's the fun part. I had to get a bite plate during auditions.
Oh, no.
So I had to sing like this with this bite plate between my teeth. And I had to sing, and I had to go through the audition for districts just like this. And you can imagine how hard that was.
Oh my gosh.
I still made the cut for districts. And then for the spring, I told my parents, I told my orthodontist, I said, I don't care what you do, take it out. I have to audition, I have to win. And as a result, I went first chair in like regionals and then to all state as a base two.
Wow, wow,
And
wow.
that was a good year because that was also the year I won my first national grand championships, and I beat out over 400 other black belts, and then I qualified for the Olympic trials that year as well. So this is 3 months after my 18th birthday,
Hmm.
and I also got a scholarship to college. So my hard work had paid off. Now I talked to my parents, and they said, you're not going to be a karate guy. Go to school, do something important, like go be a doctor, scientist, lawyer, engineer, something, like first generation thinking.
Mhm.
And so, so I gave up my dream. I wanted to be a, martial artist like Bruce Lee. I wanted to be on a like Wheaties box, which I could have done that if I had gone to the Olympics. Who knows what could have happened? But what they wanted me to do was to go out to Colorado Springs for 2 years, and then I would have been on the '94 Winter Games on the Taekwondo team, like as an alternate, and who knows what would have happened,
Mhm.
But I think you only get one of those shots, and unfortunately,
Wow.
that's it's one of those very few life regrets I have.
Oh, wow. Guys, if you haven't seen that, if you put your mind to it, disregard the self-imposed, sometimes it's on our mind, limitations to what we can achieve. Man, so Raj, you've been into medical research, right? Taekwondo, a speaker on the TEDx with Johnson&Johnson,
Yep. Hmm.
and competed at all levels of life. I mean, what haven't you done? Is there anything you haven't done yet?
Oh yeah, I still have more to do. I'm not done yet. I actually want to form my own biotech company, and I'm going to be that's one of those things that in the next 5 years I'm going to be like looking into. I
Mhm.
would like to form my own biotech company to like reduce the cost of CAR T therapies, which are these are these very like a generation T cell like redirection cell therapies. And what happens is that say that if you have pancreatic cancer, or say that you have a brain tumor. One of my friends this year passed away from a brain tumor. It's called glioblastoma. I've been pushing at J&J for the past 5 years. Please let me do a side project on it and let me help save his life. And they wouldn't let me.
Mhm.
So now that I've left J&J and I'm wondering about how am I going to do this on my own, I'm considering doing either a Kickstarter or funds or like a fundraiser of some kind, and they get the first round of a VC funding. Because right now the therapies, they cost between $700,000, $800,000 per patient.
Wow.
So and my goal is, and I have some ideas and some like operational expertise in this. I'm very good at what I do after 22 years of doing this. So if we can drop the price down to 100K per patient, then to the insurance companies, which is the real bottleneck, if they're willing to pay for the treatment, so it costs them less to pay out to patients,
Yeah.
then they'll actually pay for the treatment. And now we can really save millions of lives. And then I can say that I really put a dent in cancer because now we've actually cured it for real.
Wow.
So that's what I want to do. I have
That's
a book
amazing.
coming out
Yeah.
that it's on the 5 pillars of success based on my journey, and I talk about health, wealth, mindset, faith, and family, and how together they're like a rising tide and they raise all ships.
Mhm.
We have in 2018 we released a martial arts documentary movie called The Martialist, and we have a sequel coming out. And I have collector's grade comic books, only 500 premier copies made, first editions. So they're highly valuable and sought after. If people want to get those, they're at martialist2.com. There's and then when my book comes out, Joe, I can't wait to share with you because I really want to get that launch party, and
Yeah, you got to
it
do
just
that lunch break. And is it the Unbox Me Today? Is that
unbox me today. You got it.
Yeah, yeah. So Coach Raj, where can they find more information about you and what you do, so they can, like I said, they want to find out more about your mindset hacks and other projects that you got going on? Where can they find you?
There's two ways. One thing I always tell people is this: a very simply, like if you want to change your life, you got to change your life. That means you got to start to change the velocity of like what you're doing. First step is this: two ways to get in touch with me. First is go to victorymindsetacademy.com. That's my coaching platform. If you go there, there's a free fast action mind shift course already there. You get 5 free modules. They're super quick. You just going through all of them. It takes you about maybe 20 minutes or less. And that's one way. The other way is book a call with me, book a Calendly invite. Right now, I'm using my email, and I just give it out to people. Just Raja V Speaker, just like the word speaker, at gmail.com. And what you can do is put in the subject line, coach me. If you don't put it there, like, then I have my VA kick it out as spam, because I don't want to get the junk emails. So in the subject line, and also it goes towards this: can you follow direction? If you can't follow direction, then why would I work with you? You know, so the people that work with me, my clients, they have to earn their spot with me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a way that, like, my time is very valuable on this earth. I'm only going to live to 125. So
Only?
only,
Okay.
that's it. I mean, I assume I might live longer, but at least 125.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of time left on this planet. So what I want to tell people is that, listen, with the time that we have left, do we want to spend it with people who are eager to be coached, or the people that are joking around and trying to waste time with you? So if you want to be coached, if you want to learn something and really want to change your life, either go to victorymindsetacademy.com. Make sure you I take the fast action course, and join us every Thursday on the lives. I do a Facebook and a StreamYard live training every week. It's called Freedom Coaching Live. Just do hashtag Freedom Coaching Live, and then you'll see it. And you'll see that there's 3.5 years of that. And for those that want to work together with me in the future as a client, I have a membership training vault, as well as group coaching, as well as my VIP small group coaching, kind of like my inner circle. Then I have a year-long elite program for the people that really want to just basically save time. Because remember, in order to get to anything you want, like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, they had coaches. Tiger Woods, he had 4 or 5 swing coaches to help him with his swing. People think that, oh man, the guy's such a natural talent, he just did everything himself. No, we didn't. Everybody has coaches. I've had multiple martial arts coaches. I've mastered, 6 different styles now: Tang Soo Do, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga. I'm certified to teach samurai sword, and now I'm taking Wing Chun, and which was Bruce Lee's first style. And my teacher, he's 4 generations down from my Ip Man, who actually originally taught Bruce Lee. So I'm learning the same stuff directly that Bruce Lee taught, or was taught. And the reason why I strategically chose these styles is that no style is perfect. Anybody who says that needs to go back into the studio and train more, because they got their mind wrong, because they don't really understand. Every style has a strength and a weakness. And what you need to do is you need to find out, where are your blind spots in your style? And that's not just your karate style. Where are your blind spots in life? When you start thinking about mindset, I don't like the word mindset. I like the word mind shift, because I think we're stuck in mindset like cement. So we need to break out of that mindset and use strategies to conscientiously, strategically create a mind shift, so you can find the success that you want.
Wow, there's a mic drop.
That's right. Boom. Boom. And here's the victory bell. We play this. There's the mic drop.
That's it.
Yeah.
So before we go, Coach, what is one last thing that you would like to tell our audience, to just, like, they can take out of our talk that we just had and take and run with it and say, man, Coach Roger's right.
All right. Here's the first thing. Here's the beginning journey of your mind shift adventure. And I teach a 12-week program in this, so which I call the mind shift adventure. All right. So first step of that is, what if? what if what you know is wrong? And that's the first step you have to think about. Until you can say that and start to question what you believe to be true, we can't go forward, because you have to start to question, well, what if my ideas on wealth were not correct because my parents did their best, but they weren't financial advisors? What if my ideas on health were not correct? Well, my dad had diabetes and my mom died of cancer. Well, what if your ideas on health are not correct? What about in faith? Well, I was forced to go to Catholic church because that's just what my parents did. All right, fine. But did you ever evaluate what is your belief system? What do you truly believe in? And it's not about faith or God. It's more about what makes you a more valuable person in society. What is that belief system that helps you? What about, so we are talking about how that very first step, start to look inward and say, number one, are you happy? And it starts with that. And I mean, truly happy, truly. Do you come home and are you at peace? Do you go to work? Are you at peace? With your family? I have two children. One is 10, one is 12. And, so I have one that's starting those tween years and one that's about to become a teenager. He's already getting surly and starting to get some attitude back. So, and he's starting to get tall. He's almost eye level with me now. He's about here now. So he's like another 2 inches, he's going to be eye level with me. So, I got to keep him in check. So what is it that I have to go through every day? Are you happy with the way your life is going? And if it's not, you need a coach to get you there. I paid in the past 5-6 years, at least over $100,000 to get all this information that is going into my book, that is now in my Victory My Mindset Academy. And if you haven't had the opportunity to get the right coach, look for one somewhere. And it doesn't have to be me, but if you resonate with me out there, I encourage you to come into my circle and start to learn from me. And if I give you value, fantastic, then we can have a conversation about going forward. And if not, go find someone else. There's plenty of coaches out there, and I want you to find the right one for you. So start with what if.
Wow. Very, very sage wisdom and guidance from Coach Raj today. And guys, check out his website, victorymindsetacademy.com, and check out his free 5 modules. It doesn't hurt, to learn and to question, because I totally agree with you, Coach, that one of my sayings is that we have to leaders daily learn, relearn, and unlearn. Because if we're not learning, we're not growing in life. We're not expanding. We're not seeing all that life has to offer. And unlearn sometimes. We got to unlearn some things. And I love the way you put that. So guys, let's give a shout out. And if you can, shout out to Coach Raj. And then guys, check him out. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. And like I tell folks every day, have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life each and every day. God bless you guys.
Okay.
So
thank you. All right. Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate your time and appreciate you. I mean,
thank you. Thanks so
just
much.
Keep doing your good works. And for the audience out there, please help support Joe as well. He's a fantastic guy who's doing great things, creating impact for people. So remember, there's, good people always find a way to connect, and like two magnets, we just kind of, found each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
definitely.
So thanks again. And as I always say, don't fake it till you make it. Instead, believe it and become it.
Wow. There we go. That's what it ends. God bless you, brother. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye. So hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast and share this podcast, because you need to get leadership tips out there and have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life each and every day. Hey, if you want to find out more about what I do, go to joedietree.com. Go to joedietree.com and see what we're up to. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.